Meeting to order with everyone present. First item on the agenda this morning is Winneshiek County Celebration of Life. Proclamation and program overview. Ladies, come on up, state your names for the record.
I'm Margaret Walter.
And I'm Julie Wurzel.
Um,
Nice to see you all.
We're probably one of the easier parts of your day. First, I'd like to say, because 26 years ago, when we started this, our first October, we came to the board and made our first proclamation. So for 26 years, the Board of Supervisors have been sponsoring us, supporting us, and sharing our information. If you're not familiar with us, for 26 years, we have been doing awareness and health programs. We started out with women, we've expanded to men, and now we include everybody. Our largest program is our fuel and fight programs, which if you live in Winneshiek County or doctor in Winneshiek County, and you are in active treatment of cancer, we provide fuel and food cards to you. This year, we're projecting we'll probably go over 80 individuals that we will assist.
In our little area.
Just our little area. And out of that, there's just a little new cases every year. And you can see how well received our program is. We are totally sponsored by donations from individuals, corporations, and businesses. We do not accept funding from anybody that tells us who we can help and who we can't help. We're kind of set in that way. We are a board of trustees. We're very much aware of how we spend money. Our joke is we have to buy our own shirts because we don't spend hardly any money, a little print and things like that, but just about every penny you give us goes back to the community. I do want to thank everybody. I want to thank everything everybody's done for us. We have to do fundraisers through the year. We are so blessed because so many people do fundraisers for us. Golf courses do. We just did an amazing one with the co-op. Right now, we're doing a month-long one with Toppling Goliath that actually named a beer after us.
Galactic Warrior.
Yes, which we consider, yeah. Oh, we've enjoyed it. And they have, it's been good to us. Everybody's so good to us. And it's such an easy message to spread because it deals with cancer. Everybody deals with cancer. Yourself, your family, your friends. We not only ask for donations, but everybody here, we would like you to go to our website. If you know anybody, our programs are listed in there. The applications are so easy. If there's anybody we can help, we would be so grateful to get those names sent to us. We do cover HIPAA rules. We're a 5-member board, and then we have 2 members that are non-voting, that are medical people, and we keep everything very quiet. People do not want their personal history shared, and cancer for a lot of people is very personal. So coming up is our big event every October. This time it's a November 1st event. We are bringing the white sidewalls to Decorah, which has been amazingly, overwhelmingly received. Ticket sales are going. We're sure we will have to shut ticket sales off. We have 25 amazing individuals and sponsors, businesses who are helping us sponsor the event. This will be a blessing in a fundraiser amount for us, so we can go forward with our programs. If you want tickets, they're at Margaret's, Modish, and the Hotel Winneshiek for this. So we're very grateful. Can we answer any questions for anybody?
Where's the event?
At the Hotel Winneshiek.
Oh, at the hotel.
And the hotel has been very gracious with us. In fact, the white sidewalls have been gracious with us. We sent them information about us. They were so excited to come and help us out. So it's Friday night. The band will be playing from 7 to 9. Doors open at 6. There is no reserved seating. We will have like concert seating up in the balcony part to accommodate as many, but we do have to cut it off because of fire code. There will not be tickets sold at the door because we have 300 max, and we're pretty sure we're
getting close.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and that has to include the band and us because we have to be so good about this.
Want to be respectful of the hotel.
Yeah.
And everybody who's coming too, we want to be
So
respectful.
it'll
of
be a
their time.
comfortable, fun night. We're looking forward to it. Yeah. And so if I could give this for somebody to read. That's our
Do you have any more
proclamation.
questions? though?
Oh, yeah, if you have any more questions?
Anybody have questions? Okay.
Okay. Proclamation. We, the Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Cancer Awareness Month. We encourage citizens, government agencies, private and corporate businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other interested groups to help increase awareness of what we can do to prevent, curtail, and to pay tribute to those who have had their lives impacted by this disease. Signed, hey, Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors.
She's even provided a pen.
And then we'd like to get a picture, of course.
Want to make a motion?
I move to approve October Proclamation Month for Cancer Awareness. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yep.
for all of your work.
Unfortunately, there are too many people who you've helped. And I'm glad the help is there, but I'm sorry that the need is.
Oh, we're in the thousands.
We talk about that all the time, that we're glad we're there in their moment of need, but we're very sad for the fact that they're going through this.
Yeah.
The paper did a very nice article on it.
Yes, thank you.
If any of you want to read that, it goes into the details how we had to start and how far we have come.
It's a healing.
We do.
Yeah.
We want to shout out for Winneshiek Medical Center and Gunderson Lutheran, who have been a big supporter of us. And
Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, yeah. It truly, it's hard to say it's our pleasure again, because, we know how this truly impacts people around us, but we're glad that we're able to support them. That's the most important.
our happiness comes from that. So when we say we're having a big event and so many cancer people come to these events and get a chance to really enjoy themselves. All right.
So may we get a photo, please?
Can we just go behind there?
Can anyone hear me? I'm trying to get into the meeting.
Interrupting your meeting. Everybody has to move around. I'm good.
You want to be-
We're probably gonna have to-
Oh, we got a little bit more.
Yeah.
Take your call. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
Squish in.
Are we good?
Flag.
Yeah, should be good for this one. Take a couple here. All right. Take a couple. One. And two. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna take that.
Thank you again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this will be on display at our event. We always do. Thanks so much.
Thank you. See this at a different setting.
Yeah. Probably see you Thursday.
Yes, Thursday's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
We all have on the consent agenda.
Minutes, claim. Sheriff's quarterly report and a couple of liquor licenses. Twin Springs Supper Club and Wildberry Winery.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Any committee reports?
Health Board Wednesday and just Chris came up about the building and stuff. They're gonna have one entity maybe gonna need a room or two up where the health department's needed. emergency management. They might move up in there in a room or two, so. After a while, see how it goes.
When is meeting and where? The health board?
Yeah, last week.
Last Wednesday.
Oh, last Wednesday.
We had boiler inspection up at the DHS building to have it, the license current for this current season. That's all fine and done. So we don't have that concern.
It was the lighting one.
Not yet.
No, I can start one here.
And early voting starts Wednesday. Ben, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Early voting starts Wednesday.
What time?
8
8 to 4, Monday through Friday, and we're also open Saturday, November 2nd, 8 to 5.
I'm going to be a poll worker for that.
Thank
And
you.
on election day.
Thank you.
And there are many others.
Yes. We do, big group.
Thank you to everybody who volunteered for helping with the election.
Did you want to review this one? Okay.
Is the new forklift that's listed in here for recycling at recycling now?
Yes.
Yep.
It had been here for a while, but they had to have a rotating device installed on it.
For the forks to dump this, side dump the bins.
So it's out there. Quite nice. I didn't take
It's
it,
clean.
I didn't take it
It's
for a
very
spin, yes.
Well, they needed one, I know.
They desperately needed one.
The other one was leaving a trail of smoke.
This Elon Financial Services, is that a correct?
That's a credit card.
But, you know,
Well, Tom, if you want to come up and warm your chair up.
was with Steve and I and several others went up to tour the recycling facility in La Crosse last week. Quite an operation.
Significantly different than ours.
Yes.
10 times the size.
It's a massive operation. But I think we learned some really good things, and I think we'll incorporate some of that into our operation too.
Sounds good.
If you have, Tom, you have a copy of the change order.
I do.
Excuse me.
Well, it's 9:45. Next item on the agenda, Tom Madden, SEH Engineering, Festina Sewer change order and project update. Go ahead, Tom.
How are you guys doing today? Let's do a project update real quick. So everything's running out there. I need to follow up with Donnie to see, he's had some tests done to see how everything's performing, but just from a visual standpoint, it looks pretty good. So whenever you folks want to get out and take a look at this thing, I'm more than happy to go out there with you, answer some questions and things of that nature. Now, we still got some shakedown stuff we're going through. Controls is always a thing that works great on paper, but once you implement it in real life, it's got a little bit of hiccups. So we're still working with that contractor. And then The UV system has had some growing pains, so the manufacturer's working with that to get that all squared away. So those are the only two outstanding things from a, I guess, a functionality standpoint with regards to the system, but it is working and everything's running out there. So that'll all be taken care of prior to you guys doing final acceptance on the project. We won't bring that forward to you until everything's working right. Once it is working right and we get things rolling, we got a couple different warranties on the project. Every manufactured item has manufacturer's warranty, just like when you buy a toaster or whatever like that. And then the project itself has a 2-year warranty on it for things that the contractor was responsible for. Now, they didn't make the treatment system, that was something they purchased, right? So it's got a manufacturer's warranty, but they did put a bunch of piping in the ground. So if there's settlement and things of that nature, those are the items that are covered for 2 years. And I've talked with Donnie and I've talked with Neil out there to make sure that if they've got any problems in the next 2 years or so, to make sure they call me first. So we usually have happen, especially with guys like Donnie that are real focused on making that thing work right, is they do a lot of stuff themselves. All right. Not that I don't want them doing that, just that if somebody else is going to pay for it, let's do that instead, right? So I've talked with both of them folks just to make sure that if there's any problems, they call me first and we'll figure out whether it's a manufacturer's warranty, whether it's a contractor's warranty, or whether it's you guys saying the deal. Okay, so I want to make sure that was clear with him, and it is, so we're all on the same page there. I spoke with I sent Ben an email, spoke with the State Revolving Loan Fund, and they told me really fast the formula on how to figure out loan forgiveness and stuff like that. So bottom line is the county's going to get some loan forgiveness on this project. My understanding is a little bit vague of what it is, so I'm just going to tell you that it's somewhere between like 200 and 400,000 bucks. All right, so it'll be somewhere in that range. And the weird thing about it is with this project is the loan forgiveness is coming out of the bill money that had been kind of put aside with COVID and stuff like that. Under most conditions, the state already has that money, and prior to you finalizing your loan, they write it off, okay? The weird thing about this project is that the money they're using, because they've already allocated all the money they had in their pocket, it's their FY24 allocation, which although we're done with FY24, they don't have it yet. So depending on the timing of everything, instead of you folks getting that prior to the loan being ready to totally close, it may be something that pops in after, but nonetheless, it's coming. Okay, and I don't know what that means from the standpoint. I mean, once you close the loan, you kind of usually got your payment figured out, and then when they take money off, I don't know if they refigure that closing or whatever it is. But regardless, somewhere between 200 and 400,000 bucks is what the loan forgiveness is going to be, which I think you guys would like to have, because that just reduces your contribution to the project. Now, if it's in the $400,000 range, which would be really great, it exceeds what your contribution was and actually reduces the dollars that Festina's got to deal with. Yeah, so that'd be really nice. All right, so for sure it's going to help you folks out. And if it goes all the way to the other end, then it'll help Festina out as well. So that's a really good deal.
2 years seems short on a warranty, if that's standard for this equipment.
It is, and it's not the equipment. The equipment warranty is anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on what piece of equipment is.
Short.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is in this business, all right? It's not like buying a car where you get, your 3-year bumper to bumper type thing. It's more like buying, lawnmower at Walmart, right? If you get 6 months out of the deal, you're probably lucky. If you get a year, you're really lucky. So it's more like that. The warranty on the contractor's work is actually longer than typical. So if this is going to be like a USDA project, for example, they stop it in a year. Since this is a private, we designed it type thing, and we're not relying on people telling us what to do, we extend it out to 2 years, which is very typical for road work, utility work, any kind of work that like Decorah does, for example, that's done by engineering. That's got a 2-year warranty on it as well. So that's very typical for that. Yeah. And the bad thing about some of the manufacturer's warranties, we fight this all the time, but it doesn't do any good. A lot of times manufacturer's warranties will be from the date of delivery, not necessarily the date it starts up. So in this project, it's not a super big deal because there wasn't a huge lag time. But for example, we're working on the Austin, Minnesota project, and there's been equipment sitting there for 3 years. So there's a good potential by the time it's actually installed. Yeah. The contractor's still responsible for getting it operational, but the manufacturer's warranty is already gone. So, okay. On a smaller project, it's not so bad, but on a big project, it's kind of a bummer.
Does
But-
it work for you this month or next month for us to come in?
I'd rather not have to be really cold out, so
Okay.
I'm open pretty much any time. If you guys want to throw a couple dates out there, and Ben can drop me an email, and I'll see what fits the schedule best, and we'll do that.
Tom, I had some public comment about questioning why there's no fencing around some of that out there. Do you see any need?
The whole thing's fenced.
It is?
Yeah. Now, the DNR fence, which is what we typically follow, isn't a 6-foot chain link fence, right? It's really only got to be 3 strands of barbed wire. And that's what's out there right now. That's what was out there before, and that's what you're getting again. So, and that, that's very typical. And even when we do lagoon projects, which, have big open areas of water and stuff, it's always just this junky little DNR fence because that's all they require. That's anybody who doesn't want to pay for anything more else required. So,
What's the point of that?
oh, there's still a fence there. It may not be, I know it's not, but
Stops large animal injury.
oh, even then it doesn't do that. So like we did the Fort Axon, we actually had to move the fence up to the top of the lagoon because the deer kept jumping that thing and we're getting in the lagoon. So when it was on the top, they had a hard time getting up the slope and then jumping it, but it's still only 3 or 4 feet tall. But, anything else on the update of where the project's at? All right.
What was the total on that, 700 and some, or was it?
Oh, boy, I don't remember. It was, the whole project was 9 something altogether.
9 something was it?
Yeah, then we had the CDBG grant, we had the WIF grant, we had the Festina's match, we had your folks' donation, or bill money, and then we're gonna have the loan forgiveness from the state, so. But all in all, I'll tell you what, this is, when you look at percentages, this is the most favorably funded project I've ever had. Okay, just because there's so many different players in it, it's great. So that was awesome. Anything else on the status? Okay. On the, we have a change order here, which is some cleanup stuff. And the one thing I want to, and I'll go over each one of these things, man, it's the best thing to do. The first thing on here, which is the biggest one, is the LP tank and vaporizer for the generator. And this is a little different in this situation because you guys are I'm gonna call you the sponsor for the project because Festina is incorporated. Normally, if this was a, Calmer, Fort Axon, whatever, a municipal project that they are the sponsor for the project on, they would source and fund their own propane system because a lot of times folks use a co-op in a lease program or whatever it is, or they get, so we don't put that in the project because we don't know what the owner is necessarily going to do at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, for a municipality, they submit the bill to the SRF and it gets paid for. With you guys being the sponsor and Festina being the owner of what's going on out there, it's easier from a paperwork standpoint for me to put this in a change order instead of me bringing a change order with a few things and then me giving Ben another invoice for the propane tank, another invoice for the vaporizer. It cleans things up in this situation. So it's a really typical move that we do. It's different for you because Festina would normally just pay for everything and put the bill in with the reimbursement request, but you guys do the reimbursement request. So I try to minimize all the stuff I pound Ben with, and it just makes more sense from a paperwork standpoint to put it in here. So it's different from my normal projects because normally it doesn't end up being a change order because the owner just deals with it. But in this case it is because They're the owner, but you're the funding agency, so it's more complicated.
You're buying the tank or
Well, they are.
they are
Yeah.
building?
They'll be the owner of the tank, and then they got the fill program with the co-op. And then the co-op's got the service.
How much is that tank, do you know?
Yeah, there's a breakdown in the change order. It was,
15,000. Oh,
That's everything.
And vaporizer.
yeah, the tank itself was several $1,000s.
Yeah, it's probably 3,500.
That's like $2 a gallon or something like that. It's $4,000. Or $2,000.
2,000 gallon tank.
Yeah.
It's probably got 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next item on the change orders, pipe installation. The treatment equipment out there, once we go out and look at it, I mean, it's pre-manufactured, right? So it comes with things ready to be connected to it at certain elevations already. So by the time we install it, got all the rock and stuff around there, we just like to have 5.5 foot of cover on pipe. Now what that does, it keeps things from freezing because it broke the frost line. On this treatment unit, because it's a off the shelf thing like buying a telephone, it comes with the piping where it comes, right? And it's just a little bit shallower than what I like to see, so that we wanted to put some insulation on top of that, keep the frost from driving down and freezing water. There's just not enough. I wouldn't care about it if it was at Decorah, Gelmer, wherever that had water going through it all the time. But middle of the night, there's nothing going through this thing. And that's when it's coldest, of course. And so we wanted to make sure we didn't have any issues on that. It just ended up being too shallow for my comfort level on that one. The next thing is bollards, and those are those just yellow pipes you see like at the McDonald's drive-thru and stuff, so it hit the building. The pipe coming into the plant, which we didn't know exactly what it was because it's not traceable. All right, so we had the contractor dig it up. And on that pipe coming into the plant, which is a straight line we have to maintain, we had to put a flow meter on there. So where the pipe was and where this flow meter structure ended up, it's just a little bit in the driveway, and it's got a cover on it you can't drive on. You could fall into it. So we put those two yellow posts there to make sure that nobody comes driving down and drives over the top of this thing, or the plow runs over it, whatever it is. So it ended up being a little bit more in the driveway. Again, couldn't help it because that's where the existing pipe already was. So we put that up to make sure that we protected that from having any issues later on. And it does stick up on the ground, but the bottom, the bad thing is that when you get snow blowing over it, you'll never know where it is. So with the pipe ball is there, you'll see that.
Yellow then?
Yes, they are. Yeah, and they're 3 or 4 foot tall. Cord extensions, this is for the UV system. Typically what we do is they just lay on the ground because that's where the control, you got the UV system, the next to it's the control panel, the cords just kind of lay there. But this structure, on paper, it looks like it's fine size, but it's actually kind of small. So the cords laying there's not a lot of walking around room without feeling like you're going to trip on something. And so because of that, just, you know, maybe a safety issue or whatever like that, it's got to get to the control panel, but there's not a lot of room between the panel and the UV system. That's where all the cords are. So what we ended up doing is wanted to run them up overhead so that it didn't create any kind of problem. Like I said, this looks like it's just a little picnic shelter. And by the time you get everything inside there, there's just not a lot of moving around, right? And we didn't want to have any, especially in the wintertime, if there's snow in that area, you're not going to see the cords. And that could be a problem. So we wanted to string them up and over the top. And it's not like buying an extension cord from ours for $25, right? These are special cords and cost money, unfortunately. So we did that as well. The additional rock, and you'll see it when you get out there. The tanks that are out there, they've got a cover on the very top of them. And the operator has to access that cover at least once a month because there's some nozzles you got to run a brush through it, you know, to make sure it doesn't get plugged up. And the original elevations out there, while it was okay, Donnie's not very tall, right? It was okay for probably somebody a taller person to be able to reach back there and do all this work. But it made more sense to make sure that it was accessible to anybody working on it, right? So we had some more rock put in that area, raised up about 1/2 foot or 9 inches to make sure that they could get in anybody could get in there and take care of that. It didn't have to be a basketball player. And then the last item on there is testing. This is an owner paid item, and normally what we do, we don't know what it's going to be because the way we work it is that there's a schedule of tests inside the specs, and we know what those are. They're every X cubic yards of dirt and bang, bang, bang. That's okay. And then there's some things that are judgment calls. So my inspector's out there, and if you see something weird, we want to have it tested, we'll call the testing guys out. So up front, we never know exactly what that test is going to be. But it is an owner paid item. And what we do is we just pay it off the invoices that we get. I think that was about $2,500 worth of testing that got done altogether.
Yep.
Yeah, 2,565. And that's it. So the tank was the big one. That was 18,000. Without it, and again, that would normally be an owner paid thing that we wouldn't do a change order on. But again, just the way this thing gets funded through you folks, it makes most sense to do that. We're 31,744.72. I think altogether we're still like 20-some thousand bucks under budget. Something to that effect. I know we're under budget. I just can't remember the exact number. I think I was estimating this final change order to be around 25,000. I think that put us 20,000 under budget. So maybe we're 15,000 under budget right now. So like I said, it's running. I can't explain this, so I'm gonna get excited about this, but I can't explain to tell you guys how I know it's running well. I want to show it to you, right? Because we can see the bacteria growing on the media inside these structures. It's a beautiful gray color. I mean, it's very exciting that it's kicked off and ran that good right away. So I really would like to show you folks and take the lid off and talk to you about how it actually works. And
Open like a true engineer.
it's wastewater come in one end, the site's small, right? It's about the size of this room, and it goes out the other and clean. I mean, that's a miracle right there. I don't care what you say.
It's not working like it's supposed to, but it's working.
It is, yeah. We got some control coordination with the UV system and to get the electronics and the UV figured out, but other than that, it's treating wastewater, yes.
The motion to approve the change order.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the change order. Further discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Well, cool, you folks figure out some dates, I'll coordinate with Ben.
Does Monday after the meeting work? Is that?
I would think so. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but yeah,
Yeah, I've got a lot of availability, so
I'll check with that as the first choice next Monday after the meeting.
it's supposed to be in the 60s next Monday, so
21st.
work. Very cool, all right. Ben, coordinate that with me and we'll hopefully see you then.
Thanks.
All right, you guys have a great rest of the week. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. See you guys. Yeah, you bet.
Next on the agenda, Andy Vandernoot, County Attorney, legal questions.
Morning. What do you have for me?
Nothing right on.
I had emailed you a question about payment for legal services. Do you want to just tell the community too and the rest of the board? Answer to that with the ICAP insurance.
The cap covers those lawsuits. They provide defense costs. You pay for it in your premiums. I don't think there's other out of pocket. Is there, Ben?
No.
Indigent defense.
I wouldn't go that far. But it is defense costs.
On the leases at the community service buildings, we gonna just start on today's date or back from when?
There's an effective date on the lease. I mean, it just says this date is effective. I think it was July 1 or June, whenever you guys took it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the date it's signed, it's the date that the,
And they've all been paying their
Yeah,
amount.
yeah.
you tell me, or did I see an email go through? We have spectrums.
The
With
only
the
one,
corrected,
we don't have a signed one for the others. I mean, the toys go around, Dan has signed it and we sent it to him, but we were waiting to get it signed one return.
And we updated the map or the
Yeah,
the sheet on the back, so I think that one, when they
yeah,
get to it. we
when they
should
get
be
to it, we
good.
should get that one. The food pantry one, we haven't,
And then when you were gonna talk to them about it,
we
I
haven't
have not
approved here yet.
sent, I have not sent that to the food pantry. I want
I
to
sent
send
that
it.
to Steve,
Okay, all right.
but I haven't heard anything back. I'll get.
Were they gonna put that 3% yearly increase on there like it
No,
was supposed to be in
it
there?
wasn't 3%, it was up to 2%. We just went with the regular $50 increase.
Oh, per
Per
month.
each
Yeah,
year.
yeah, that'd be 600, yeah.
So are we gonna have some extra office space there that could be rentable by somebody?
Well, I said, let's see here, get back from DHS.
Have you had a chance to talk to IT for recording meetings?
I have not. I do have a rough draft of a policy to review Ben and John regarding how we store, how we implement it. I'll try and get that out to them. We can try to figure it out from there.
Do you have anything else, Grant? No.
I don't.
It was relatively painless.
Yeah.
Today.
Thanks. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
Yep.
See ya.
We better put on the agenda for next week or so about, Carrie on our, health insurance.
I don't know what you're gonna do at this point.
Well, have to take a look at it, didn't we? Figure, try to talk about it, didn't we?
Okay.
What?
I think at this point, you wait until budget time.
Budget time, okay.
There's definitely enough to be an increase.
Yeah. Yeah, we did $25 last year, all going to the side fund, but we're gonna need to do more. $25 per month per employee, all went into the side fund and it still isn't stabilizing. So
Dropping
Because we should keep
consistently.
it up closer to 6 to 7,
Yeah.
ain't it? It's at 452 right now.
I think despite whatever you might increase you might get from the insurance company for their rate, you're gonna have to figure another $100 or something per month per employee to get your side up.
Do you guys understand what we're talking about on insurance? Okay, so do you want to tell the public what we're talking about on the insurance savings or the pool of money that we need?
So we buy a high deductible plan from the insurance company. It's 6,500 deductible and 13 for families. And then we carry a side fund or a pool of money and we make the deductible lower by paying for those difference in claims out of our own funds. So when we pay the monthly premium, some of it goes directly to the insurance company for this high deductible plan, and then some gets put in our pool to make the deductible lower. Saves us money, administrative money to pay the insurance company, but it makes us have a risk in this side fund, and so we have to make sure we keep enough money in there to pay the claims in the meantime. So
Is that
so-
about four something right now?
it's about 450,000 now, and we'd like it to be more in the 600,000 or 700,000 range, just in case we have a lot of claims. So this time of the year is, well, the time of the year can change. When we hit January 1st, we get new deductibles, so employees pay more for their claims, so there isn't as much going towards the insurance. But also once we get once we get the first year, then the insurance company, the high deductible part also refreshes. So it's that gap in the middle that we're covering.
So do you have some contract with the employees so they know that they can banner?
Their insurance works like a regular insurance. I mean, to them, it doesn't affect no impact to them. I mean, it works the same. It's just when the bill gets submitted to insurance, who pays it? Sometimes it comes from Wellmark, and sometimes it comes from Midwest Group Benefits that manages our side fund, and so.
Just like a lot of things, a little confusing. You get one bill and you're like, well, I gotta pay, and then all of a sudden the other one kicks in and covers.
Yeah. Yeah, the second.
Just don't pay the first bill you get.
Yes, that's for the employee, that's the lesson. Don't pay the first bill you get. It also means, yeah, it also means that when they get, most of the time when you get, prescriptions, they're only checking your Wellmark. And so a lot of times you have to pay for a prescription and then get a reimbursement later from Midwest Group Benefits. So,
It seems silly, but sometimes you get a check for 97 cents back from.
yeah. You can have it direct deposited, so you don't have to get all these little checks.
I may do that.
What's our health insurance cost for a family plan?
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
739, maybe.
7 something.
7 something.
The
An
employee's
employee,
cost.
employee and,
Yeah.
just a.
If it's
Child.
Plus
if
one.
it's child, if it's a child or a spouse, then it's a lower premium, so.
Spouse is 139 maybe. And a child is
Just a dollar.
dollar. Things.
And our county cost for the, is roughly $950 per employee.
Employee on single plan, and then an extra 250 or something for,
Of county costs.
yes, for any of the family plans. They pay the same amount towards a family plan, no matter which one they get.
Morning, Mike. So we're getting closer, you might as well.
Closer, I can start whenever.
Time sheet.
These are that's the bid tabs for the books. I'll talk about that at the end. Rest of what I did this week.
Get the bid tab. I can make more copies.
You guys want more copies? Yeah.
It is 10:15. Next on the agenda here is Michael Kueny, our county engineer. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. So I'll just go through my report and then go through the bid tabs that Shirley's passing out here. So Bridge 5, prep for approaches to be paved is occurring again this week. we do believe a pour is likely to occur towards the end of the week. The last I checked, it was 4 sections, different sections to be split up, so 4 different pours. We're still looking at November as a completion date for the project.
Going back quite a ways on your approaches there too, aren't you?
Yes, so this has,
Probably
this,
150 feet to the south, maybe a little less to the north.
that's the memory. Not wrong on that, but I can't be precise on that. So, but yes, something like that. Bridge Kueny, check plans have been submitted. Final plans are being worked on right now. Milling operation for W14 milling operations for headers in Fort Atkinson and Spillville were done this past week. Select wedging to smooth the troublesome cross sections began Friday for the Ridgeway portion. Contract paving operations should begin south of Spillville this week. I just got a mixed design in just about 30 minutes ago. Future wedging will hypothetically begin when there is availability. Either a second or third crew might do that. Don't know. This is up to River City. Press and viewers, or excuse me, an email list has been developed from this mailing. Press and viewers are welcome to request being on this list by emailing engineer@co.winneshiek.iowa.us. Speed study is in the same spot it was last week. Subdivision, same thing. The new ridge striping operation was completed on Wednesday. I was notified of that on Tuesday. Sorry for the lack of notifications. Upcoming union negotiations are the same as last week. Met with FEMA this week. FEMA events documentation has been submitted to FEMA's grants portal and to EM grants for Iowa Homeland Security. The category C documentation, we submitted roughly 109,000. Roughly 107,000 was permitted by FEMA this week. Iowa Homeland Security has awarded grant money pending final submittal. Category A debris has been collected and is drying in preparation to burn. Winneshiek County is looking for 45,000 in category A claims. That was in working with the FEMA. We had last week we had mentioned 34,000. I think we're working on 45,000 now. Category Z claims will be filed at an appropriate time. Estimates and quotes for Ridgeway shop improvements have been received, and floor heat will be provided where current cold storage exists. The extra storage bin to the shop has arrived, and I wrote this, and then I got informed that Marks is now working on that improvement as we speak. So,
Michael, was that the 40-foot container that's in current payables? Is that going to be for storage there?
yes, so it was an old pole barn, and they used to just nail things up, and then since we're going to insulate everything, we don't want to ruin the insulation or the tin, if you will. So we wanted storage for all the chains and signs and odds and ends, and so that was placed on the Ridgeway site. There's plenty of room in the Ridgeway site. Okay. Been informed of the safety data that will guide decisions for improvements within the Winneshiek County. This is the same as last week. I did have another meeting on this grant this past Thursday. I have a checklist of things that need to get done on that from this meeting. Don't know much else. If I remember right, there's going to be a meeting in March, one-on-one with the people who are developing our safety plans. I'll let you know more when I understand more. So just keep your eyes out for that. But a lot of it is there's 10 different counties in these meetings that are all on a Zoom meeting, and it's too high level right now. Get into the weeds. I'll talk about the bids in a minute. work is being done with Chuck Bridges to analyze our railcar bridges. This week, I was discussing with Chuck Britson, and they feel better about us having the Iowa State presumably come in and do a bridge study, load study on our railcar bridges. The people who did the previous one have since retired at Iowa State. So it is my idea that we procure a couple other universities. So I have phone calls out to Iowa State, to Missouri University of Science and Technology, which is my alma mater. I know a couple of people that work down there. And then to also University of Wisconsin-Platteville. So since they're pretty close as well. So I'm working on getting that load study procured.
Do you anticipate that some of those rail bridges end up with restrictions? 'Cause
Yes.
that was part of the reason we've been using them, is that they were a way to get a legal load without putting in as much extra cost. And so if they're all gonna start rating, maybe there's.
They're not all gonna start rating, it's gonna be the ones that are of longer span. So that's kind of the issue, is I didn't have any backing on the span length. So for instance, most of them that are, I think it's 66 feet in length, those will remain, but when they extend the length, I have no engineering backing. I have no studies. I have no, I can't do any calculations to justify not keeping them rated. The Iowa DOT is very conservative with their assessments on these things, so I do not want to fight compliance on that. So this is where I'm gonna, so I have to get this figured out.
Get the current ones looked over, and as we move into the future, try to keep the rail cars for only shorter.
These 60-foot,
Structures.
6-foot spans, but I mean, like, the one that we're just put in is basically just a driveway. So it's not gonna be, this isn't a huge problem. It's just, it needs to be addressed.
Right.
How many of the longer ones are there, do you know?
I think there's one other one, so I think we're fine. I just, again, I'll have to assess all of that when I, make my dot my i's, cross my t's and all this rating
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a good idea. You don't want to make the same mistake again.
Correct. Hacker Nelson audit began last week. I didn't see them in my office. I think they were there for a little bit while I was gone.
They were in the courthouse all week, but the person who usually looks at the projects was at a different county still. So
Okay.
he's gonna be here to look through your projects probably this week or next week or something, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Ice control rock is being hauled to shops this week. They're starting out with Locust Shop. Not sure the exact timing of all the different shops. That's still being worked out with Brunings. One of the things that's not on this that I'd like to just mention is that we are looking at getting a shouldering operation for Locust Road and for Big Canoe. So that way there's more rock on the road so that it's safer in case people are texting and driving. They don't have to just fall into a ditch. They have a little bit of shoulder type of thing. So it should be,
Is a pretty good drop off on.
it's Locust Road and Big Canoe.
Drop off there, if you're, especially a young kid, I mean, anybody.
And it'll be good to get that in before the snow and ice too. That's the other reason. Probably the more
Safety issue there.
so. We'll be using new equipment on that. I don't know about new. We have equipment that has never been used. So
It's sitting out there.
the shouldering
Equipment
machine.
sitting over there across the road.
Yep.
I think we bought that 3 years ago.
I don't know. It hasn't been used, and I said we should get some shouldering done. I said we have a shouldering machine. I said great, use it. And so
We may want to look at that carrier cage on the back of it to make sure that we meet all the safety standards we need on that.
okay. So do that.
I've seen it. I don't know who wants to ride back there. So
I don't know who wants to ride back there either, and that's, and
let's make sure that we're.
Make sure it's.
We're
like
safe.
that.
it's low, it's low speed, so, okay, I will look into,
Going back to B 32 and that 2227 first intersection, will that get next spring then be a?
again,
We're gonna have to do something there.
This-
That's,
Even if we don't get the grant.
if we don't get the grant, something's gotta be done next spring, 'cause that's,
well, that'll be it. I just don't know what they're gonna
what
propose to
come
me,
up.
because
Yeah.
that's not the one-on-one conversation I've had. I now have, I sent an email this weekend to their, guy, the Kinley Horn guy who's coordinating all the grants to get dispersed. He hasn't got back to me yet this morning, as to getting some answers, because I'm trying to get a feel for how this works myself.
Yeah.
I just don't, this is the first time working with the SS4A.
The point is that if they don't get grant
Grant,
funding,
you still gotta. you
Something.
still gotta
It's in,
address
it'll be in the budget, and I think that there are low-cost ways that it can fit into the budget.
Yeah.
So I would like to have outside money pay for it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
Looks like a bunch of that wedging was done up on the north part between Spillville and Ridgeway, maybe a third of it happened away.
Yeah, I don't think,
They got some of it in.
the progress is made, I'd say, be about half.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact amount, because I don't know what Mike has coordinated with River City.
Yeah, I drove it upset over the weekend and it's still improved.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Huge. You can see we're gonna start from Spillville and go south, because, you know, the more traffic you keep on that low grade ground, it's gonna keep busting up. The sooner we get it laid down, the better off it is to go.
All right, and then I guess we'll go to the bids.
Michael, on the concrete work in Fort. Do you have any word on that part of it?
I don't know anything about I don't know anything about that specifically. Staff is giving the information on that, and then I get informed of it after they get informed. So I have not been told anything
I'll
on
ask
that.
Mike.
So, yes. I guess, are we ready for the bids? So Gene Carpenter with Don's Truck Sales is here, and Bobby Frederick from Truck Country is here. They're here in the audience here. Just want to go over the bids were taken, and we received from Don's Truck out of Fairbank and Truck Country out of Decorah. Engineer recommends buying 4 trucks from Don's Truck Sales bid due to the Allison transmission availability and due to the prices found on the bid tabs. This is a request for the board to act on the number of trucks and on the suggestion of the engineer to purchase them from Don's Truck. A couple of things I will say is that I think that the trucks that Truck Country are putting together are very competitive, and have 2 more trucks in fiscal 26 that I'm looking at purchasing. And when we compare the Detroits to the Max that other counties have, they seem very comparable. So I want to just make sure that Truck Country and the board is well aware of a good relationship there, and that we move forward that way. But that being said, we have 4 trucks on bid. The price is $1.2 million. What we get out of the Allison transmissions is something that we know we like. All the operators like these Western Stars with the automatic transmissions, and it's just I'll call it a conservative point of view to get something we know and like for a cheaper price. So, and we've had excellent past work with Don's truck, so that's not an issue either.
So the Detroit is not an inferior product, it's just you don't know it.
Well, we're getting a Detroit no matter what. In this, the Detroit is in comparison to Mack trucks, and the Mack trucks. So the issue is this Allison transmission. The transmission is what almost everybody wants who's putting these trucks in. This is my understanding, and I'll have a chance for these gentlemen here to explain that a little bit better than me. The Macks that everybody is getting now are have these automated manual transmissions that have better fuel mileage, that have a lot of things that make up for the, a lot of the operators now want effectively an automatic transmission. This automated works that way. And so that's the way everything's going. And the reason that, we originally bid it with an automatic transmission requirement, but you can't get them because of current, they're not easy to get because of current emissions requirements through the EPA. So it forces a limited number of automatic transmissions to be available to vendors, and Don's can provide it, and Truck Country. My understanding is that their corporate wouldn't allow them to get them, so they were kind of, it was a tough thing to come up. But they did provide a good product. I want to keep my eyes open to having one of them or two of them coming up here 6 to 8 months when we're looking at finishing our fleet preparation for the 2027 EPA guidelines. So.
Anyone want to take action?
You want to hear from the two vendors?
Yes, I am. So I guess.
DT12 versus the Allison.
Did you want to? You said you would want them to go second?
I mean, one thing I would like just to get out is the DT12 versus the Allison. That is it's not a concern. The issue with the reason we quoted is Detroit. So in helping Mike, both trucks that we spec'd would have the Detroit 13 liters. So those would be the same. The difference is the Allison transmission versus the DT12 Detroit automated manual transmission. So it's still an automated, there's no clutch, there's no shift lever, there's nothing there. It's still an automatic. The only difference is the DT12 is an automated, so it's still a manual transmission that's electronically shifted, and they've been around for 10 plus years. They're a great transmission, very durable. Not worried about it at all. The difference in an automatic is a torque converter. So, I mean, it's a true automatic that you have in your gauge. Now, the downfall, the automated or the automatic, the reason that they are what I would call hard to get this year or unavailable at this point is because they sold out with the limited amount that Detroit, it's not us as a company that's having issues. It is the manufacturer is not either they're not accepting as many, or they're just not allowing Daimler, which is the parent company of Freightliner Western Star, to sell X amount because of fuel efficiencies. The Allison is a 6-speed transmission, whereas the Detroit DT12 is a 12-speed automated. Fuel efficiency is better. The truck will have plenty of power. They have extra takeoff boost.
They have kick down features, they have auto neutral features. They have so many nice features that allow these trucks to be more fuel efficient, and that's to meet EPA standards down the road. I feel that our manufacturer, which is Western Star and Freightliner, they're pushing on more of this application because of fuel efficiency and carb credits and things like that. In regards to the cell of the trucks, the cell of that Allison, it was, there's water in their system, their order system. The only way that anybody would be able to sell you guys an Allison is if they pre-ordered chassis under somebody else's name, or in a sense, sold them to Don's, which I've got customers, bodybuilders like Don's that I sell to as well. So we order trucks, whether, in their name, and then they can go ahead and change them, but they had to be ordered within roughly the first 2 quarters had to be ordered within the first day where they were sold. The orders opened on September 1st for next calendar year. And they were able to order for the first 3 quarters of this coming year. So the first 3 quarters sold out within the first 10 days of September for Allison transmission. Allison transmission, don't get me wrong, it's a great product. It is. Is the DT12 not? No. That's honestly, you see counties, including a lot of local counties, starting to do the MAC with what they call their M drive. And the M drive is their 12-speed automated manual. And they're doing it because of the fuel efficiency and some other typical cost-saving features.
I'll add in on that is we can go up to a 7-year warranty coverage on an Alice or on a DT12 as well, rather than, I think, a max of 3 or 4 years, maybe 5.
4,000.
So that's one thing that I'm a service manager as well, right? So when we put warranties on trucks, the way we have it spec'd and the way we have it bid, we put warranties on to warranty you guys for the duration. So we can go up to 7 years. I think that's what we have spec'd in here.
I think it's fine because that's what was off the bid.
But we can go up to 7, right?
And no extra charge.
There's a charge involved, yes, but
It's minimal at that
but
point.
it is minimal at that point. So the way we have our program put together is for warranty throughout the vehicle front to back, minus the body install, right? So if you have a headlight fail at year 5, the headlight's covered under warranty. Suspension bushing under warranty. U-joints, drive shafts, stuff like that under warranty. So
What's the fuel difference?
Plus, 1 plus mile to the gallon. In your guys' world, it's gallons per hour, right? And on the highway, I mean, we're getting near 10, 12 miles to the gallon with over-the-road tractor trailers with this transmission combination and the right engine and aerodynamics packages and so on. So we have seen our product double and then some mileage in economies. So it's honestly, we're in a great time right now. And for what we're trying to represent with the DT12 transmission, it's been around for 14 years. So it has been something that has been tried and true and proven and does well. Has it been used well in the vocational market, such as what you guys are looking for? No. We're trying to represent it and get it to that point. So.
And the capability is by all means there. We have zero concerns about that transmission in this truck. And when it comes down to serviceability, that's the other nice thing. Allison has to go back, even for us, to warranty an Allison transmission. Even if we put warranty on it or Don's puts warranty on it, whoever does it, it doesn't matter because it has warranty issues cannot be fixed in Decorah. There's only very select dealers that have the trained technicians to open up that Allison transmission and actually work on it. Whereas the Detroit version, we can do all the warranty repairs in-house store. And that's one of the things, guys, that I will 100% point out for us is that when you buy from Truck Country, you're buying from the manufacturer dealer that sells the unit, that can warranty the unit, that can repair the unit, that will take care of that unit for years to come. And no hard feelings to Don's. Don's is a bodybuilder. They cannot warranty, they cannot repair anything under warranty for the truck itself. They do a great job of bodies. When we quote ours, and I might as well just finish ours, since when we quoted ours, we went right directly through Henderson Maine. These guys will be doing the Henderson themselves, and they are a supplier of Henderson product. We are going directly through the manufacturer of Henderson, which has 20+ trained technicians, 2 assembly lines, and all the updated tooling and facilities to ensure a very quality end product. The other thing is timeline. We had this issue last time with trucks, and a lot of it was out of everybody's control. When trucks came, how it happened, and I would have loved to tell you that I could have been in more control, but there was nothing we could do to control any of it. It was what it was, and it sucked. So in regards to ensuring that doesn't happen, that's the other thing that I know with having 2 assembly lines and 20+ techs that are trained to install it. I am told anywhere from 60 to 120 days, they would have all 4 trucks completed, ready on the road. And they are none a very good, but not the cheapest that you're going to find. I mean, just in quotes that I've compared and bid against with Don's versus Henderson directly, it's usually between $5,000 and $6,000 of an increase just in their installation. That's just on the average. And now going through this, and it's not trying to push on anybody one thing or another. But in the end, it is easier for us to help out when issues arise. Trucks are purchased through Truck Country. When they are not, and there's some issue that hasn't been taken care of or needs to be taken care of, and nobody can decide whose fault, what happened, and those are the times that we help out. That's because we've also made a little bit of money on the truck. We have that capability to do that, whereas same with service. You know, when trucks need to be fixed right now, it is easier for us to fix them when it is something we've sold. It's easier for us to pull that customer out that didn't buy from us and say, yep, these customers bought from us. We can pull you in right now, get it fixed, taken care of as quickly as possible, and have no hard feelings about doing it. I mean, there is a lot, guys, that it goes into this, and we want this partnership between us and you guys. I know our price is higher. I was expecting that because we sell chassis. We don't sell the bodies. The body quote is directly from Henderson. I did not raise a penny on that. Nothing. It's just our product. We are selling it to you guys. And one thing that you guys, and I won't go in depth in this, but one thing that is different between us selling it to you is the manufacturer dealer is selling it to you. So we are using your discount. Whereas for us, for Don's gets to buy it. They turn around and they resell it to you guys from the dealer so they can use their discount, which tends to be bigger because they buy more chassis than you guys do. You know, so there is consideration there. So I apologize that we are not the cheapest, but I will never compare price-wise to service-related issues. It is wonderful working with this group. I know a lot of the guys that run the trucks, and I appreciate the opportunity. So if there's any questions or any doubts on this transmission, by all means, please ask the questions because it is something we can overcome pretty easily.
Don, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I guess I'm Gene Carpenter. I guess I've never been real concerned about fuel efficiency, put it that way. on county trucks, just because of the way you have to use them. You know, snow plowing, that's gonna vary. So I'm not sure fuel efficiency really adds into this equation. When I found out that Truck Country couldn't get the Allisons, Bobby had requested a bid from me for the hydraulics that would go on his T12 transmission, which I went through the whole process, but when I bid trucks to a county, to a city, whatever, the first thing I do is I find out where you guys are plowing snow. And what's critical with any transmission is that between the shift points where you're plowing snow, which Michael said and Jeff said around 30 miles an hour. Okay, you want that shift point right in the middle of your where your transmission's shifting, so you've got some variation. When I did the shift points on the Allison, I mean, basically, you're not shifting out of third gear yet, and we're right in the center of that. And now I can't speak to the T12 because I don't have that much experience with it. But with the Allison transmission, you can poke a button and you can hold the transmission to not shift out of third gear. It shifts out of third gear about 35 miles an hour. So that driver doesn't have to worry about looking down at the speedometer and wondering if he's going 35 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour going down. So that's the one advantage. The second thing that I looked at on the T12 is because of emissions, the radiators have had to get bigger. And because of this, and the way they have to put it in the chassis, I suspected that there was going to be a hole in the radiator. So basically what they do in order, because you got to run a front crankshaft PTO. So you come off the crankshaft with a drive shaft and then up to the pump. And now I had not researched this because I haven't showed or sold a front crankshaft PTO since the new emissions came out. So I had to go to basically one of my friends who basically sells Freightliner Western Star trucks. He went to an engineer in Daimler, and the drive shaft does go through the radiator. And this is not a good deal because what they actually do, they cut out about probably a 5x5 hole in the radiator. And that's where that drive shaft goes through. And I basically supplied Michael with the email that I got from Western Star that shows this hole through there. Back in 2010, before we changed to the Allison automatic, I don't know, there was somewhere between 5 and 7 radiators that I replaced in you guys' fleet because they had holes through the radiator and the radiators failed. So I was going to bid the T12 until I looked at the shift point and I found out about the hole in the radiator. And I got enough problems that I create for myself without creating something like that. As far as the Mac that they have alluded to, most of the Macs, if they are outfitted, and we've done some down there, they go with a rear engine PTO coming off the backside of the engine. And I don't want to go into all the details, but they are a pain. Not only in installation, but if you have any problems down the road on a Mac, you basically have to strip that whole cab out of all the controls, all the seats to get to a hole in the floor to do any work on that. The person that I used to get this information on the radiator, he basically sells Custom Truck, which is a big manufacturer down in Kansas City. On a normal year, Claire will sell these people about 5,000 chassis. They do snow plows down there. I asked Claire, I says, have you guys ever sold a snow plow to a county or put one together for a county with a T12? And he said, no. We get our trucks from Boyer Truck in Minneapolis. They probably sell a couple hundred to municipalities up there, and they've never sold a T12. So I'm one that, you know, I don't want to be the first guy out there selling a unit to a county, especially when there's 4 of them. If it was 1, okay, we'll try it. But with 4 units, you know, if we have issues with the shifting of them or anything, and plowing snow is where you're going to come into it. That's where I want somebody else to take that jump to begin with. And I guess the last thing, I mean, Bobby said that you're buying the equipment directly from Henderson. They're buying it from Henderson truck equipment, which yes, they sit right beside Henderson, but they're an outfitter just like we are. They just got Henderson on the front part of their name. So I guess you guys have gone along with the Allison. The Allison is a great transmission. I mean, if I had to keep my business going on the amount of service that we do on Allison's, I'd be in trouble. We might see 1 Allison in our shop a year. I mean, they're just a bulletproof transmission. That the way it's set up, you know, if your guys get stuck and they're rolling back and forth, what used to do in automatics is they could be rolling, put it from drive to reverse, and those clutches inside would reverse all the time, and they would rip the clutches out in them. In the new Allisons, they can be rolling ahead, but it's that, and the driver can put it in reverse, but
If we have a problem with the truck, do we have to haul it down to you?
no, if you have, I mean, I guess Bobby kind of alluded that if you don't buy it from him, you're not gonna be first in the door.
That's not 100% the case, but it makes it easier when you haul.
But when we were Sterling dealers and we sold you guys a lot of Sterlings, it didn't matter if my customer had bought it from Truck Country or bought it from Don's Truck Sales. If it was a Sterling, when it got there, it was put in our queue to fix it. And that's the order that it came in my door. I didn't differentiate who sold it. I fixed it because that's the proper way to do it. So if they're going to back off fixing yours just because you didn't buy the truck from them, I guess I wouldn't be in agreement with that. You know, if your truck goes up there, they're obviously, after it comes out of warranty, you know, they're going to get the fruits of the repair side of it, which that's where the money is anyway. You know, there's not a lot of money on the front side of these trucks going into them. It's just, you know, what you get after that. And as far as the equipment goes, you know, with buying the package from us, we can't say, well, you know, this isn't warranty because the equipment was put on incorrectly. You know, we have to say, okay, if the equipment did it, fine. If it was the truck side of it, then a Western Star dealer should take care of it.
So we're talking about a $12,500 difference.
Per truck. Per truck, yes.
It's 8,000, just the truck itself is 8,000 some.
Yeah, that's with trade-ins.
So guys, one quick thing before Darren speaks here too, just to go on to your guys's, and Gene makes good sense too on your ship points. That's something as a truck expert that we would get with our Detroit rep and make sure that those ship points are in the correct spot. Because in the DT12, it also has a manual mode. So you can turn it into a manual and actually paddle shift it like you're paddle shifting a car, which also allows it to hold it into that gear. So if they want to hold it into, let's just say 9th gear, and that's where the RPM range is, it's capable of doing that. Because the main thing with all these new engines, and to ensure that they have the peak torque and horsepower while they're pushing snow, you need somebody that actually goes in and actually sets that actual ratio correctly. So that way it's at the correct RPMs of that engine. Unlike the old days, trucks, you ran the higher the RPM you run them, they just go harder and harder. Nowadays it's opposite. The higher the RPM, you get too high, the truck falls on its face. And these guys will do Allison's easy when it comes to spec and ratios and things like that. And so are VT12s, if you have the right guy speccing them. And that's what we do, is we spec the trucks. And in the end, we'll never tell you we're not going to fix your truck. That was by far the last thing that I will ever tell you. It's just a matter of, it does make it easier if there's somebody already in the shop and you need it now.
The service guys can speak now again, but I prefer warranty. I prefer warranty. And that's what kind of keeps us ahead of the game as far as you owners of a vehicle, or 4 of them. That pays me the best out of it all. And when we go into the world of customer pay, I don't see your vehicles after they get X amount of time on them, because you have a very capable shop and crew of people that are doing the maintenance side of things, the stuff that they can handle. And that's part of the MO that we do. We have trainers, we teach, we guide, and I'm a guidance counselor myself to your crews. But we have a true training center that we send our customers to if need be, if it's asked, if it's requested. We have a location in Dubuque that is, I think there's 7 trainers deep now, and we train our own students. So, I mean, we're a large company. There's no doubt about it. Our biggest look that we're really trying to do is we're trying to grow in here, right? I've got a new facility going up. I mean, I I'm meeting with planning and zoning tonight. So, we want to obviously be part of the growth with Winneshiek County, obviously. And, we want to be part of the solution to obviously help economy and the biggest thing for me is to, yeah, up front, we're higher. We are. My suggestion would be on the used trucks, the trade side of it, have an auction like you guys always do, because you're going to do better that way. I don't look at your trades as high value equipment. I look at it as it could be higher value when you guys retail it, right? That is the toughest thing to do, and in Gene's behalf as well. It's to put a value on a 2003, 2004, 2009 truck that's, you know, been in life and worked its magic, but it's time that the magic is over. But farmers will buy that. I just have a hard time picking up anything that doesn't have an auction value on it and say, here you go. The other side to it is we have 12 gears, 12 speeds instead of 6, 7, whatever transmission is. So with 12 speeds, you can find your mesh of your gear, and we can program hold modes. There's so many things that can be done that it's probably it's so fruitful it's not even fun. And I'm still checking on the Holden radiator thing, and I definitely recommend that too.
Well, Michael can give you the
And what I'm saying is, I think that the reason you're going to have a higher cooling package is you're trying to cool off that Ellison transmission. So I think
they're all 1,400.
they're all 1,400.
1,400 square inch radiator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would comment that in my proposal, at the time, I didn't know when we would be able to get the transmissions. They are in very short supply. And I said that there was some in first quarter, some in second quarter available yet, and a bunch in third quarter. But just before we left the office this morning, we verified that we can have 2 of the units around April 1st. And then the other 2 units would be the first part of third quarter. So we could probably have your first 2 units almost by July 1st, depending on the outfitting and that, and then starting on your other 2.
Also to back up the Repto, we got ours on the ground and it's done. And your engineer and Mr. Kaboshik got to, and also Lenny got to witness this thing, and it's operational, so we'd be glad to do Repto. It is.
We have to verify with vendors.
We'd have to, yeah.
They're willing to do a Repto.
Yeah.
Because,
That would at least eliminate the radiator problem up front, which I did not look at, so thank you, Gene, on that.
we'll definitely look into the radiator thing, because I thought they had resolved that with this new chassis and their splayed front end. Because they splayed the frame rails now compared to the old trucks, allows that engine to sit deeper. And I'm almost positive they changed that, but I'll double check on that. Now, when it comes to, in general, guys, the DT12 is going to do whatever it needs to do. I'm not worried about it at all.
Add something there. My name's Bruce Beck. I'm also with Don's. A couple of things. So whenever you pair up equipment with a chassis, truck center is going to have to work with whomever, whether it's us, Henderson, whomever, if it comes to a warranty issue on the hydraulics or the equipment. You know, that's not going to change. It's just, if you got to do warranty work, then you're driving another half hour, 40 minutes past Fairbank, down to Manchester, down to Henderson. So that's, you know, one thing. The DT12, one thing I want to throw in, you know, a DT12 and a semi tractor is a whole different world than the DT12 and a plow truck. You know, when you start talking fuel efficiency, you know, don't get me wrong, it's important in every aspect because it's dollars and cents. But it's more important when you're talking over the road trucks. That's over the road nomenclature more so than county trucks. I mean, we know county trucks are just not gonna be as fuel efficient as an over the road truck. The Max with the M drives, you know, I think it'd be a fair statement to say one reason Mac has went to the M drives. The Allison has been in a shortage. Last year, it was in a shortage. So people that want trucks that couldn't get an Allison, they've been looking at alternatives. So I think part of the reason the M drive has been being used more is because of that shortage, you know. And I think part of the reason for the shortage for the Allison is because they've become so popular. You know, you guys know what you went to, 10, 15 years ago, everything's automatic now. And that's the way, you know, your dump trucks, our feed trucks. It's so hard for everybody to find drivers. Everybody wants the automatic. And I think that kind of plays into that too, keeping up with the demand. DT12, they're right, it's got 12 speeds. You know, I don't know how many you're going to use out of that, but I'd venture to guess you're going to be shifting gears more. You know, I guess if you got your shift point right for that exact time you're plowing snow, great. Whether you want to be shifting more gears. Used trucks, in regard to that, if you guys can auction them, get more money, great. Up until the time we take them in on trade, you guys are welcome to try and sell them outright. If you sell them, it will not affect the new unit price.
And for the time frame for Henderson two, like I said, it was 60 to 120 days for all four to be completed. I have talked to Gene about time frame with that too, if we were going to do it with them, which Henderson did not want us to quote both, so I had to pick one or the other. And it's roughly 6 to 7 weeks per truck. These guys to complete a truck with the lack of ice and things like that. So it is different. I mean, when you are a bigger facility like the Henderson Group that has 2 install locations or 2 install bays with 20 plus techs versus one with a couple techs. And nothing putting anybody down. It's just more or less, I feel that it's the way of the future. This DT12 is coming around. It is going to be a big deal down the road. And just like Mac, you know, I could have sold, I just priced out, it was Floyd County last year, this last fall. And I priced them out of Allison's and they end up going with M drives. So we could have gotten Allison's last fall because we had that jet. The Allison wasn't as difficult last year as it is this year. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's because EPA fuel credits. That every manufacturer is having to cut down the amount of Allisons they sell because of the fuel efficiency angle. Now, that is not why I would sell you this transmission is just strictly because that, like these guys are alluding to, a plow truck is not all about fuel efficiency. Where you're going to gain that fuel efficiency is in the summertime when you're running rock around from different county to county. And you will definitely gain fuel efficiency at that point. You know, but when it comes down to plowing snow, I'm not worried about fuel efficiency. I'm making sure that thing has the right ratio to push that snow as effectively as it possibly can.
Mike, was your request for recommendation based solely off the price, or was there more factors leading into it? Shop guys, or
Just talking to the shop guys, they feel much better about the Allison. My recommendation mostly comes from, it's a product we know, and at a lower price. So it's it's the 1-2 on that. It's not that I think that we're getting a bad product. I go through my notes, regarding, talking to Jacob Page from Floyd County, talked to Bud Johnson over in Fayette County. And I mean, the automated manual transmissions that they have with the Max, they all like them. They're Reptos instead of the Feptos. So that means that we don't have the issue with the radiators. Truck Country has shown that they're working on that Repto that has an ability to work. So that's a good sign. And, but at the time it was too much, I don't know, too much faith, I guess, to say just do a Repto because we don't know if it'll work or not. So we didn't ask for the Repto to quote. Part of this was, because I had no idea that the Allison, this whole thing was a learning experience for me. So the Allison transmissions, how the market is for them, it's like Beanie Babies in the 1990s, where it's like you buy ahead of time, and just that whole thing is just not on my radar of things to do. But I can tell you that the shop guys are really, they just feel better about the devil they know rather than the devil they don't. Then you get the lower price. But I just want to say a couple of things. I want to get all 4 of these trucks ordered. And, I did a couple of numbers from Floyd County. They have 200, they last year spec'd out a Mack with the automated transmission, automated manual transmission, excuse me. So the equivalent to the DT12 for the Mack version. And that was $296,000 for a reasonably equipped plow truck. And so we are getting basically a better price for something that we want than that. Truck Country is coming in, and that at a price where if you average 10% per year on inflation, which is the price that we are realizing, Truck Country is coming in less than that 10% per year with this. So I think it's a good deal that way. So I have full confidence that we would be getting a good product from Truck Country on this. I have full confidence that things are going to be worked out so that we see more DT12s on the roads. I talked to Brunings. I don't remember his last name, but Darren with Brunings, and they have a DT12. It's not the vocational efforts, and he loves them. So again, this is all product. It's just, do we apply it here on these 4 trucks right now?
To the next 2.
That's where I'm at. So
It would be interesting to somehow come up with what would the fuel savings be, which would quickly eat into the cost difference.
Yeah.
And also having a local vendor that's a mile away from your main shop.
So that's another thing. It's not, so the other thing about Truck Country is what they have. I talked with Doug from Cassuth County, and he sends his trucks over here because of the job that Truck Country does here in town. So having Truck Country be a partner with the county is very important to us. So it's not
and they're local.
Yeah, they're local and all. I mean, this isn't just an easy.
No, it's not.
So I guess I would expect, even though wintertime, no, but summertime, just hauling things back and forth, we would realize some fuel efficiency.
I would imagine that's the case. I have.
I would think so.
And
I don't know how to.
No, I don't.
Probably not, but
I don't know how to tackle that problem at this point, other than I'd have to start getting, mileage logs from the groups and.
Some point in time. Because of fuel efficiency and EPA, the Alice, we're not gonna get it anyway, so.
Correct.
We're gonna have to make the jump at some point.
That is one of the reasons why I look to the future.
Well, but I'm just saying, yeah, but I'm saying, we're gonna have to go to these anyway, potentially. You sold to Floyd County?
Oh, we did not.
Allison's not.
Allison's not going away.
Allison is not going to.
From a fuel efficiency.
No,
They're gonna have a better one coming up?
I follow Allison really close. I don't know where they're coming from with the EPA and the efficiency. But there is nothing that is going to take Allison out of this game because of fuel efficiency.
No, he's right.
That is a misstatement.
That's not gonna go away. Allison, so the reason that the EPA stuff is out there right now only because of fuel credits. So take, for example, your automobile dealer. So GM in general, they have to sell so many EVs to offset the Hummers they used to sell. They can only sell so many Hummers, so many EVs because that credit in the middle has to match for that manufacturer. It has nothing to do with Allison necessarily. Allison's not gonna go away.
No.
They make a superior product, especially for certain applications. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that.
But in this situation, is it a superior product?
They're both superior products. I mean, they are both superior products. I mean, if I could get you Allison's right now, I'd say, I would tell you that you lean in sense that way a little bit. But there is no chance to get them. And when the bid came to us 2 weeks ago, roughly. And in 2 weeks, we had to make a decision on a quote that states we have to have the trucks by December 1st. But they have to have the trucks ready to go, finished on the road by December 1st. I didn't want what happened last time. So I was not gonna even quote the Allison for that reason. Now, I'm happy to see what it changes on our price if the county would want to wait until Q4 of next year, because I think there is water in the system. There's a lot of fake orders in there. And all of these orders by these dealers that put fake orders in, they can change those transmissions to anything else they want throughout the year until those orders are within 60 to 90 days of build. And if they change enough of them, that's going to open up slots later in the year, but it's not a guarantee. And that's the part I don't want to make people feel, oh yeah, we're going to get them later. We don't know that for sure. But do I have a good feeling? Absolutely, I have a pretty good feeling, because the way that the manufacturer opened up orders, the way they did that this year compared to years in the past, it is going to make a mess for them. And I have a big piece of equipment later in the year. There'll be some availabilities, but having that on that quote page, I do not want to go through that again. So we are pricing what we can get, what there's no issues availability on, that there's a good chance that you'd have all trucks, and I don't want to promise, but there's a darn good chance you'd have them all by October. That October, November mark. That's all ready to go. But I left it as, we would have them for sure by December 1st. I just know that they'd be earlier than that because we have no availability issues with that transmission. And the serviceability of it is great. Now, like I said, if we wanted to work together and put 2 and 2 together, that's also an option. We're happy just to do, if you guys are a little nervous on final 4 of them as the DT12, or if you would want to wait, because knowing that these guys wouldn't get the last 2 until Q3, and that's if something doesn't change like they did the last 2 years ago. Nobody knows. Gene and I both can't predict that. Even their dealer can't predict that. I don't know if it'll happen again like it did in the past, but if there's something on constraint, something that's hard to get, something that they're having order input issues with, there could be some goofy changes that happen. There's no doubt.
Okay.
What is the board, what are we thinking here?
I don't know.
I like the idea of 2 and 2.
I was just gonna say, I like the idea of 2 and 2, if give us an option. I am disappointed in the trade-in value that we're getting from truck country as compared to others.
Well, that is not, we
Well,
can sell them outright. That's
we-
irrelevant. That's.
Well,
They don't
You
want
can
them,
say-
so that's what.
They don't want to monkey with them.
They're tired guys. Those trucks are just tired.
We'd be looking at.
They're here to sell new trucks. They don't want to monkey around selling used trucks.
Well, then they don't want to sell new trucks if they don't want to give us what somebody else would be giving us for them.
That don't even make sense.
Well, it does.
They're not it doesn't matter.
Bottom
It's
line is
truck
bottom-
dealer, car dealer, nobody wants used equipment.
Because bottom line is bottom line.
They're
It's
just-
like, well, what are you gonna give us on a deal?
For both of us, and I think I can speak both generally for both parties here. If a 5-year-old dump truck or plow truck is a fun plow truck to sell, right? That's where we can actually get aggressive on that. A 10-year-old isn't so bad, but when we're dealing with 20, that's where it gets a little bit
I mean, rust.
rust
Folding
and,
doors,
yes, and
folding hoods, and they're tired. Those
And again-
trucks have been great.
I don't disagree with you. That's just.
So, yes,
We're
numbers.
getting, that we're getting a better price from one based on.
I would say if Mike wants to maybe just talk it over with the mechanics or whatever, and if they would be willing to do 2 and 2 or. they
Without
want
a
all
hole in
three.
the-
I'd like to talk to Lenny myself.
They, I mean, the answer is I have talked to them about this and they do want the Allisons.
Yeah.
Where I am leaning on the T12s is for the next 2 purchases. Because I just, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, you guys think that the Allisons are staying here and I'm all ears to that, but I just know, that
Stay with
that
what we
from
know.
from a federal government perspective, the trend is to make things more stringent, and that just makes situations like us being able to get those Allison transmissions in the future more expensive in my mind. I don't know if that will happen. That's just how I anticipate things to happen.
Yeah, so here's one last thing on the Allison difference too. We go Allison, let's just say we go Allison. We quote you, it's gonna be more money from us. Our quote would have been more money. And again, it goes back to, you're buying a truck that was purchased already from Don's, from their dealer, getting their deal. Whereas we're having to sell the truck directly to you guys and using your deal. The volume makes a difference with these manufacturers, which I can't stand. I don't like the way they do their concessions, which are called rebates, but it is what it is. We can only deal with that so much. So, I mean, we could go Allison, and in the end, it does cost more. And down the road, it costs more. So in general, for us, let's just say it was us selling you guys trucks for the next 10 years, and every time you needed a truck, and you were going DT12 at that point, it is saving you money. The transmission will save you money. Now, the Repto thing is more of a Henderson thing that they've got to figure in because they're different mounting to the back of the M drive versus a DT12. And once they get that adapter plate figured out, the rear mount PTO would be fine, but it is a little bit more expensive on that end as well. Having a rear mount versus a front. Front mount is easier to work on because it's right out in front. Now, I don't believe that the radiator thing is as big an issue as it used to be, even if it is through the radiator, a portion of it or a smaller portion of it, because it's going to be smaller in my mind if it is.
I wouldn't sell it if that's the case, and I agree with Gene 100%. If it's got a hole for that PTO, I won't go. I don't feel it's the right move, because we've had problems in the past. We had problems in the past.
Yep, we have had.
And honestly, this is good banter for both of us. I mean, it's not that we're competitors, we are, but we also get it. We also want to sell, both of us want to sell you guys the right product. I have a hard time with PTOs, putting a PTO on the side of an Allison transmission because they only last 300,000 miles in the brooding world. And they're throwing away $3,000 every time they put a PTO on because they fail and they wipe out the transmission. That's why I'm trying to just keep it on shafts somehow, whether it's rear mounted, whether it's front mounted, back to the functionalities within. I'm trying to keep it on a shaft and keep it live, and I don't have to worry about a clutch. I don't have to worry about a gear against a gear. I am out the back or out the front. So there's things that I have in my vocational mind that I'm trying to put together to satisfy everybody's needs. But and it's a tough thing to do. I mean, you guys are trying to satisfy everybody's needs in the whole county, right? I get it.
That's why I'm sitting here. I want to go with the recommendation from the engineer and your maintenance guys. At the same time, I want to look out for the county and keep businesses in the county
Appreciate that.
supported. This is a tough one.
Real quick, guys, one thing with the Allisons too, so with the extreme shortage, we've got 2 in first quarter right now. Now this is, and then third quarter. Now, this is first come, first served. So, we know these first 2, they're gonna go like that. And as we go each week and month, unless something does free up, who knows? But, as we go each week or month, if you do want an additional 2, at this point, we can say we got 2 in that April timeframe, 2 third quarter. That's why we made the call before we left the office this morning. So guarantee after that is just unknown. We'll sell them if we have it.
I do like that part.
And the other part too would be concession or discount that was brought up a couple times. We could have priced it a little closer to, what their price was. We assumed also they were going to be a little higher, but, we don't want to do that. We want to do what's best for the county. We want to give you guys as much discount as we can. The same on the Henderson,
Where's the warranty work done?
The majority of your warranties could be on the chassis side of things. So it would be at Truck Country.
Then, well, if they elect not to do the warranty, we will pick the truck up and we'll take it down to Waterloo and truck centers. We work with truck centers down there.
One of the,
The equipment warranty would be done in Fairbank.
one of the advantages that Winneshiek County has is that Truck Country is here. And so like Howard County, that goes through Mac, goes up to La Crosse, I think. And then Fayette goes to Waterloo. So they have to go that way. So we have.
So Truck Country is gonna do the warranty work on
That is the standard.
either of these trucks for the
The
truck
truck
part.
is the same truck.
Yeah.
Right. So they will get the warranty work. They will get the corporate money from Daimler coming into Winneshiek County regardless.
And 7-year warranty and 5-year
Well,
warranty.
No, they have a 5 on the bid. The bid is a 5.
That's on the transmission.
That's why the bid is set up the way it is so that you get quoted the same warranty
we'd have to
from
pay.
everybody.
Pay
Oh,
more
I
for that.
understand, but they're willing to go 7.
And there's also an option, you could actually extend your Detroit warranty to 7 years as well. I mean, that either one of us can do, just so you're aware of that. But again, that goes to bidding out trucks with your truck experts.
You said you had sold the DT-12 to Floyd County.
I did not sell in the Floyd County. I actually bid them at Allison and lost the bid because the Allison was more money than the M-Drive, and they went with the M-Drive.
And they went the M-Drive. Did the Floyd say anything about the satisfaction with their M-Drive?
When I talked to Jacob, he said his crew seems to like the drive. And that's the same thing that Fayette County has. The issue, again, we get back to the if we go with a automated manual, it's my impression just from this discussion here that we want to make sure we go with the Repto at this point. And we did not have that all ironed out in 2 weeks.
Sure.
There's a lot of.
So this
a lot of
is,
circles and put numbers together real quick.
and I just want to say thanks to both companies getting 2 weeks. But the idea here is to get the Allisons, if that's the way we choose to go, is to get those Allisons on order.
Michael, I talked with Kerry from Henderson, Henderson Truck Equipment down there. Because when this DT-12 started in the conversation, and I knew I was gonna have to go out the front, I figured I'd have to go out the front. I asked Kerry about a Repto, if they had ever put on one Repto, and he said, we put on one Repto, and that's the last one we're gonna put on.
What I'll say to that,
It was an ET12?
Yeah, he said that was, first of all, once you come out the back end of that, engine on a repto, you gotta make a stand behind off of the frame to hold the pump. Because you're gonna have a drive shaft probably 2.5, maybe 3 foot long, that's gonna come from the back of the engine over the transmission and to the back of the cab.
Can I have you just work with Darren on that? Because Darren was, he was working on the Repto real time as we were having this discussion, and I think he's got some news for you.
You put the PTO right on the back.
That's the pump, there's no PTO.
Yeah.
There is PTO.
I think we've been hashing this over for an hour now.
Sorry about it.
This is definitely a tough decision.
It's a $50,000, roughly $50,000 difference.
I would recommend holding on to your trades and retailing yourself.
Yeah. Because you think we can get more than 10,000?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So for us, you think about it as a
I'm
deal.
gonna say then why would, you said they're worth nothing, but.
Well, we
now
have
they're
to
worth-
make money on them. If we can't make money on them, why would we take them in per se?
Or we have.
So
To get the sale.
to get the sale and lose money?
But you said you wouldn't because they're worth more.
We can sell them out, we can sell them outright.
You
We're not gonna sit here and argue with them
No, I'm just.
on that all day
Trade
long.
value.
No, we're not gonna sit here and hash that out for
Until the
hours.
sales
That's
within
I
the-
mean, good God.
15,000 of the
Yeah.
difference.
They're all businessmen. They're doing their job. They know what, yeah. We can sit here and worry about what they're giving for us to trade and we can sell them for a little more. No. We haven't considered how to about that.
Oh, I'd love to purchase them from Truck Country if they could get the product that our mechanics want. That's why, I mean, that's the point. We're replacing them with what our mechanics want to work on. And the availability of 2 in April and 1 for the other 2 in the third quarter, I'd go with those.
Yeah.
How sure are you on that timeline? Because we don't want to wait like we did last.
We're definite on it.
That's the chassis we get in third quarter, and then we gotta up it.
The third quarter chassis won't show up until August or September, maybe even October. At that point,
Right now in third quarter, we can dictate when they're produced. So we could have them, in July, first part of August. The third quarter, builds, there's no restriction on the timeline. We were hoping to do 1 in first quarter, 1 in second quarter, and 2 in third quarter. But we're gonna get 2 in first quarter, and then we can tell the OEM to order the other 2, so they're in here in the July, August timeframe.
Any other thoughts here at the table?
We can sit here all day till we're blue in the face and. Yeah. Just we gotta go with the engineer and the mechanics, or, I mean, everybody said, you guys, I guess I'd have to go with.
You'd not recommend tabling it for a week.
We can't table it, because we need to know.
Yeah, they need to know. That's
That's a sales tactic too, though, to say, if you don't get in here, you're gonna miss the deal.
That's
But it's not for their first quarter stuff.
Their first quarter, they can jump.
Third quarter, I've ordered trucks for Allison's already for third quarter. I ordered them weeks ago. And they're November built. The third quarter. It's very hard for them to distinguish when they get. Like that.
So it's not guaranteed April 1st.
If it is, I would like to know who the hell does it for them.
We aren't gonna buy any before July 1st anyway, because these are next year's budget. So we want them between July 1st.
so not exact, if, once they get the chassis, we would pay Don's.
Oh, okay. So you've got part of this in this year's budget and part of.
Yeah, well, the budget's blown. We're gonna have to, I know there's room in the budget based off of the projects and things like that. But whatever I whatever budget I have, and I can try to bring that up if you want me to talk about it now. There's room in the budget to get
Okay.
all 4 trucks if all 4 trucks were to be purchased.
I'm not here to step on anybody's toes, but I'd make the motion to go with, I mean, I'm not, no argument, no place, but I'm going with the engineer's recommendation and the mechanics. That would be my
However
motion.
this turns out, we don't.
I
want any
mean,
hard
we're,
feelings.
no matter what, yeah, I don't,
Is that a motion, Mark?
that'd be my motion.
I think in the future, we should look at what would the fuel efficiency savings be? Other counties seem to like
But they don't,
the other transmission. They didn't have a complaint with it. That's what they use. So
it's still, okay, so the hard part there is it's still relatively new. They're not 20 years old. They're not, so.
The real comparison would be if you buy one of each at the same time and
then 20
and
years
then
later.
track them for 10 years or whatever, and then you could say.
I can't.
We don't have
Yeah,
that crystal ball today.
I made motion. Don.
I'll second.
Consider your toe.
What does that say? Okay, we have a motion and a second to go with Don's. Is there any further discussion? None? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
I'll go aye.
Okay. Passes.
Is that
Was it
for,
not-
is that for all, or is that,
Unanimous?
So
Yes.
it's unanimous.
is it all 4 trucks is the other question?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for coming and spending your time.
It gives them better prep time. Do you want to start thinking about when you bid those next 2? and
That's-
give them months rather than weeks to do it?
Yes. This is my first go around, so I am going to
Please.
say thank you to both.
When it comes to bidding trucks, the biggest thing you gotta remember is we don't get our next year's pricing until the end of July of each year, roughly the end of July. Then we don't even know allocation until August timeframe. So that was the last time go around, the bid was right before the next model year, and it was just a nightmare. So bidding it strictly right after, or actually having your bid specs in before then,
I mean, could you
but
bid,
not having it closed till after.
could you bid the next 2 in the current model year, just not for delivery until the following fiscal year and give them more time?
I'm going to be working with Gene and Bobby.
Okay, yeah,
Beyond just the sale.
yeah.
Anything else?
One last comment on the availability of Allison's. I don't know if there's much truth in this, but we were told by Allison that the US government came in and bought a whole bunch of Allison's. And that was part of what created this shortage. You know, who knows with our people up in Washington, what they might be doing.
Probably best not to say anything if we don't know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, motion. Motion. You second?
I second.
Consent agenda?
All those in favor?
You already-
Aye.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if you want.
Yeah, no,
But this, when we were going through the different specs, and you're the mechanic guy, you're, I mean, this is truck country, and then this is Don. And so I just think this is the apples to apples comparison. So I don't know if you want me to send that to you, that's worthwhile.
if that was a cute.
Really, I mean, there's no, yeah, the guarantee part thing.
I was gonna say, it looks like they went through a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
They've been.
When they have.
That's here tomorrow, if you have that discussion.
Hundreds of people that. I've got.
So this will come out.
A whole meeting with unsplit votes.
A whole meeting? A whole meeting?
The whole meeting.
This wasn't the only decision, right?
Almost only one.
I'm sure it's the biggest one, but.
We'll have questions, but.
Okay. Okay. But they have, they're with details of the transmissions, make sure you guys.
Oh,
Drawing Michael, because I think that's about, you and I are probably about the same boat. It's right over our heads.
Okay, so Scott with crew.
And you probably don't need all those details in the paper anyway, because it's reading it with. Going on there. Yeah.
This.
After a lengthy discussion of transmissions.
With the from SEH, that's a long story with this, you know.
Yeah.
It's new, they talked about it, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be the big one.
Yeah.
It's new and it's just,
Just, yeah.
it's completely.
Any
different.
questions I have,
It's not, it's not suggestive for
Okay.
questions. It's, it's a, there's a change every day.
Change stuff.
It's not just it's a new, it's something, you know, a little different.
Well, I thought that was a good compromise, because then you get to try it.
No,
But.
but and leftover.
Well, and trust me, you know,
Because they,
when it comes back to the
the
storage,
chance to kind of learn it.
you guys are actually buying the used truck. either
Get
one or two. And that's why.
But I mean, there was so much disagreement about those retro stuff.
My biggest fear, and I
When
didn't
you
want
don't
to.
know,
Gene,
Gene, different
Gene
information.
is the head of that deal. Gene is the star, right?
Engineers.
He's sold out the blue.
That was a
Gene
very-
won't be there for another year or two.
And it was like money, you know, like,
I don't think it's a
okay,
building.
that's where I was at, but,
And so you're supporting.
and it was,
That's why we were looking at Henderson.
it wasn't just price, because I hate operating like only. But it's one of those things where I'm like, this is like Lenny and Brock, who
Okay, two of them in the room. Okay.
you know, have 20+ years between them experience here in
We're-
the county.
There's only two in the room. See you later. Bye, everybody.
All